Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the JT Show. SuperTalk Mississippi. Dave Hughes here, and we are getting right into things with a very busy guy. The Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections, Burl Cain, joins us on the show to get things started on this Tuesday. Commissioner, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Now, you have been busy, and that is an understatement. But before we get into anything else, just bring us up to date. How are things going, and how smooth has it been to try to get some of the things you want done in the Department of Corrections?
Well, it's been very smooth, really, because the personnel board has worked really close with me in changing some things to make it easier to hire people. And certainly the governor's office and the governor himself is very supportive, and the legislators, because, we have a problem, we need to fix it, and we're going to get there. And they've all been very, very supportive.
Now, one problem that you had right up front was staffing. I know you had a myriad different problems there. How have things gone with that, or are we seeing some progress in that area?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because we have solved our staffing problem with Probation Pro. We hired when a statewide blitz that personnel board worked with us really close to hire all these people at one time. And we were successful in actually getting 63 employees there. We had 87 vacancies, and we fixed the blitz again and finish it off, and we can do that. Correctional officers have been a little bit different, but we just changed our qualifications, and we're going to substitute experience for GED and high school diploma, because there's going to be a lot of people out there that maybe quit school or dropped out and went on into the workforce, but now they're getting older and they want a secure job and a good place to work that will have some future to it, insurance. And so we're going to open that door, and that's going to really help us a lot.
Well, and that is an admirable thing, but I assume you're talking about people that already have correctional experience, right?
Right, and because work experience is really good, you don't have to, if you have experience coming to work and just want to work and want a job and things have been hard for you, we have a career, and that's what we're offering. And a lot of people miss the boat. We've seen that in some other states where we had some problem. It's not that we're lowering our standard; it's that we're widening the gap, because a lot of people, for some reason or another, had to stop or just didn't finish, and then they regret it later, and it denies them, good jobs. But in this case, we want to open that door because nobody seems to, and there's a lot of people out there in that category that could really help, because we need your eyes. We need you able to walk around. We really need your eyes more than anything else, and so that's going to help, I think. And anyway, we're making some progress. We opened the gate at Parchment, the back gate, and so that's going to open up the communities of Shelby and some of those communities that had to drive 20, 30 miles around the prison to get to the prison. And so that's open. That's going to help a lot. And we visited with the mayors at Indianola and some of those other towns up there and got them posting signs. So we're very proactive in employing people.
Now, let me ask you this. Your new policies that you are putting into place, and I understand it's a process. You don't just, walk in the door one day and just change everything. It can't work that way. But are you starting to hear any feedback from both the staff and the inmates themselves regarding your policies?
Yes, I'm having a real hard problem hearing you on this end, and so I don't know what's happening to our connection, but anyway, I'm trying to get where I can understand you a little bit better. So we have a flaw right here just for a minute. So I didn't really understand your question. Can you repeat it again?
Most certainly can. And can you hear me now? Are you picking me up now?
I'm hearing you a little better now.
Okay, good. You can't just walk in the door and change everything first day. It's a process that you have to go through. But the changes that you have made, what's the response been so far, both in terms of what people think about them and feel about them, and also the effects that they're having?
Well, one thing we have to deal with is this gang situation was more than I kind of thought it was going to be, and so pushback from there is we just sending 10 more of them out to other states because we're going to run the Department of Corrections. They're not, and if they think they're going to run the Department of Corrections, let's see if they can run it from Colorado or from Virginia or from Illinois or Indiana. Let's see if they can run it from way up there. And if they want to have their family go way up there to visit them, just keep on trying to be a bully and push us around, because we're going to get rid of you, because we're going to run this Department of Corrections, and we're going to have our way, and they're going to have to understand that. And so we're getting some pushback there, but the more they push back, that means the more good we're doing. So that's kind of where we are with that. And so we're sending 10 out here the next week that's kind of been giving us the blues. So we're going to be in charge. And the other thing we did is we're starting a 20-man tactical team with probation and parole officers. We're going to have one in South Mississippi, one in Central, and one in North. And that's going to be our shakedown people and our response people, so that if we have any prison unrest, we're going to have a force ready to go and ready to roll on a moment's notice, and we'll be shaking down our prisons, removing contraband and getting stuff out, and doing it on a weekly basis instead of a monthly basis, and try to even at a daily basis. So getting the contraband out is going to help us a lot with the gang problems.
Well, exactly. And you said earlier that once you got in there, the gang problem was even worse than you thought it was. We kind of thought it was bad from the beginning. That was a big part of the problem. But you say it was even worse than you thought it was.
Well, it was when we got here, because, at Angola, I didn't have any gang. We had gotten rid of them, and I was used to that peaceful life. And I come over here, and it wasn't quite so peaceful. But the thing you do is you got to make it peaceful. So you got to get everybody out of the way that's causing you the blues, and that's basically them. I don't like that people, mamas have to send money for protection. That's crazy. We're not going to live that kind of life in Mississippi. We're not going to have that in our prisons. And we're going to cut that out. And when that happens, we're going to nip it in the bud. And that's what we're doing. So we're in charge, and we're getting even more so. And we have the tactical teams now and the backup for it. So we're in good shape. I appreciate the sheriffs and all the law enforcement community in this state, because they've all worked really hard to support us. The Sheriff's Association, I talked to the president of the Sheriff's Association yesterday. And so also up in Sunflower County, and they're patrolling for us, and nobody ever asked them before, but they're just really jumping up to help us everywhere they can. It's real good.
Well, and I think you're illustrating something that may have contributed to the problem, or at least didn't do anything to solve it before this. It's that whether it be your correctional officers, whether it be local law enforcement, anybody, everybody has to be on the same page, and everybody has to realize somebody's got my back on this, and somebody cares about whether or not it's going to be done correctly. And again, I'm sitting on the outside looking in, Commissioner, but to me that kind of helps foster the problem of the gangs running the prison. If everybody isn't on the same page, which is basically what you're saying that you're getting to happen now.
It is, and I call him Judge Tyndall because that's what he is to me. But anyway, he really jumped forward to help us with these problems we're having, and he and I have been in close communication. And also the governor's office, directly out of there, they've supported us, in Brad White and the governor, and we've met with them some, but very, very supportive. They want it fixed. They want it cleaned up. We want it back like it should be. And look, I'm really happy to announce we're going to get there, and we're going to get there over this spring. And we're going to build our first church at Parchment. We're going to have it 6,400 square foot church. It's going to be dedicated Easter Sunday. And look at me, we haven't even poured the slab yet, but I know that's where we're going, because we set goals and we're going to achieve it. But not only that, there'll be 9 churches built. We're going to have 2 at SMCI and 2 more at Central Mississippi. And all that is morality, and moral people don't give you the blues as much. So we want to change our population. We're doing really well with all that.
I do love your turn of phrase of giving you the blues, because that's such a great way to put it, without just coming right out and just knocking a bunch of people, which is, I'm going to be honest, everybody's first impulse. Oh, look at those jerks. Well, no, giving you the blues. And sometimes you gotta just grab the bull by the horns and deal with that.
Well, that's why 10 of them's taking a trip, and they didn't plan on taking. So, they put the threat on us a little bit, so we just doubled up on them. So they want to do it. We're going to do more. And we're not going to lose. Look, I didn't come here to lose. We're going to win. I can assure you that. We're going to have a good penal system. But what I found really, too, is helping me a lot. And I just got out of a staff meeting this morning with all our superintendents and our wardens, and they're all on board. They didn't like it either. They want it fixed. We have really good employees here, good leadership. We're doing a lot more training with our middle management to treat people, fairly so that they'll keep working for us. We got a lot to do there, but anyway, this is turning into a good place to work, and we hope people will step on forward and take these jobs.
But I tell you what, we got to take a break. When we come back, we will continue with Commissioner Burl Cain with the Mississippi Department of Corrections here on SuperTalk. It's not just those 10 that are taking a trip. You're taking a trip to Georgia pretty quick here, and I want to talk about that in a second. But before we get there, did have a question on the C Spire text line. Said the 10 that are taking a trip that you're talking about, are they being split up to different locations? Are they being sent to just spread around, basically?
Two's going to Colorado, and four going to Illinois, and I think three going back to Virginia, going to Virginia. So we spread them around, but we trade, and they'll send us some back, that's giving them the blues. So we all us commissioners of corrections started trading people, and that gets them out of the loop. See, so they can't be a gang, they can't be a leader in Illinois. They got to start over at the bottom. So there you have it.
And
way to kind of deal with them.
That's a brilliant way to deal with the problem, I think, because you take them out of their home territory, and all of a sudden it's a whole different ballgame, and you have broken up some of the command structure there, which I would think makes it a lot easier. Now, you do have a trip coming up where you're going to Georgia. You're talking about other commissioners talking, and that's part of the purpose of this trip, right?
It is, and I'll be in Georgia this afternoon, meeting with him at 10 tomorrow and spend a day. And what we do is compare what he's doing for reentry and what kind of programs he is and how he's dealing with violence, how he's dealing with gangs and so forth, and what we're doing. And so then we compare, and then we help one another. And he'll help me, and I'll help him, and we're going to learn a lot. And I'm taking Jay Mallett and Gary Young, the reentry guy. Jay Mallett's over all our security. And so we're going to have a one-day-long seminar together with his staff and our staff and really come up with some good ideas. It's just good training for us, for me, too.
Well, and that's the thing. And, you saying that, I just want to call attention to that because that's important. Because, Commissioner, you're recognized as one of the experts in this field. But the way you get to be an expert is you never stop learning. You never wake up one day and go, man, I got this figured out. And that, to me, that sounds like the purpose of this whole trip to Georgia and other trips I'm sure you'll be taking is you're always looking for new ideas and new ways to deal with things, I would think.
Right, and I'm a candidate for the Board of Governors for the American Correctional Association. Hopefully I'll win. I've been in that position before. And so we have those conventions and meetings where we go to our, to train ourselves and really interact with how we trade inmates around and what we do with different states. Because we're all one, we're all in America, so let's all make it work. And these gangs are multi-state, and so we have to deal with that too. And it's just good training for all of us. We have to train, and more train. That's what I'm doing for myself even.
Now, let me ask you this, because, you got these individuals that are getting a trip out of state where they will be, and all of that is an effort to quell the gang problem. Are you hearing about any positive feedback from some of the inmates saying, well, I'm glad somebody's doing something about some of this finally, because while it is widespread, I don't think it's unanimous, is it? I don't think everybody in the prison is in a gang, are they?
No, you have a lot of folks that go to prison, they rehabilitate, they really don't want to do it again. They're good family people, they got families outside, and they made terrible mistakes, and so they don't want to live that life and have that pressure. And these guys can get so extreme that they cause you to have violence, and you prey on the poor and the weak, and that's not what we're about. We have to protect people everywhere we go, and we have to help them recreate themselves into someone that's productive and not going to come back to prison, and save the taxpayers. But remember, everyone we change, that's one less victim of violent crime we'll have when they get out if they don't recidivate. So we think about crime victims as well, and you just can't turn it over to them and let them just cause you all kind of chaos and corrupt your staff and everyone else. And this inspires the staff to come on, let's do good. It inspires the other inmates. Hey, we're not going to put up with it. This Department of Corrections is going to fight for us and going to keep it right. And that helps everybody. But they just have to back up. We run a Department of Corrections, and I'm not going to share my power with any other inmate. And if he thinks I am, I'm going to run him off. And that's just the way the mop flops. And so that's what we're going to do. And it works. That's what happened for me at Angola. We persevered. We didn't have any gangs there. So it was a good thing. But we had them at the beginning, but it was all of us. It's not me. It's all of us. It's the whole criminal justice community. And that's what we find here. Everybody's working really hard to help us. And that's good. Good people here.
Well, and it is a widespread problem in just about all aspects of life. A lot of people still seem to think that the gang problem is not that big of a problem, but it is. And as you said, it's everywhere. But I think one thing that a lot of people like is you don't forget the meaning of the title. It's the Department of Corrections, not the Department of Incarceration. The entire point is to turn these people back into productive citizens before they go out into the community. And sometimes you got to take a few bad apples out of the barrel to make that happen.
Well, and it's like we put these bracelets on these guys and send them home, and he cuts the bracelet off. Well, we trust him to go home and be good, and he cuts the bracelet off. I'm going to say that he goes back to jail. I'm not going to put another bracelet on him, because if I trust him, he's not trustworthy. Back to jail. You have to be strong, and you have to have consequences for bad behavior, and that's what we do. It's no difference in raising kids. You got to have bad outcomes when you do bad things. So that's how we do. That's our motive operation. That's our modus operandi.
So from what I'm hearing, you're probably not going to be handing out participation trophies in the prison system.
We're going to be encouraging good behavior, and we're going to be kind of pretty hard on bad behavior. And we want everybody to live well, do good. We want to have good food, good medicine, good playing, good praying. We don't want to have the federal court come in and take over our penal system. It'll cost us a fortune. We're going to fix it ourselves. We have a new vendor for medicine already. And we really appreciate the folks that's helping us with our food and so forth. They're doing good. So it's all good. And it's going to be better. But the main thing is we got a well-motivated staff that really wants to see it change. And a lot of inmates that want to see it better.
And that's all you can ask for, especially this early in the game. It sounds to me like you're doing a great job, Commissioner. Let me just say that right up front. I don't think we could ask for more than what you're giving us.
Well, one more thing we're doing, we want to put a fence around our property, even around Parkman. And I'm talking about a cattle type fence, net wire and barbed wire, so we can protect our perimeters better. Then if somebody encroaches on our property, we can see the fence is pushed down or it's been climbed. Then we'll know somebody brought drugs or something in or shouldn't be there. Then I met with the district attorney in Sunflower County, and he's going to help us with prosecuting trespassers. We put up our signs, don't be crossing our property. And so we're doing that everywhere at all our prisons and just taking back our borders. And then the district attorneys are working with us really well. So I tell you what, there has been no pushback from anyone we've asked to help us do anything in this state. And we have our drones flying at Parkman, and we also have drones flying at other two prisons, and some of them are the captured drones we got. So we're doing good. We're covering the ground really well and really controlling contraband.
Well, Commissioner, I know you've got to go because you got to get to Georgia. We appreciate the time. We appreciate you coming to talk to us, and we appreciate the work that you've already done and the work that you're continuing to do with the Department of Corrections. It makes everybody feel a little safer knowing that this is your attitude, this is your approach, and this is what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much, but it's not me. It's everybody that works here. We all doing it together. Thank you, though.
You are welcome back anytime. Of course, Commissioner Burl Cain, Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections, headed out to Georgia for what would you call it, a fact-finding mission, Rhino?
That's one thing you call it, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They're putting the heads together to see what they can come up with, and they're already coming up with some great things. So great job by the Commissioner. And we had things on the ceasefire text line while we were talking. Ron in Columbus said, I really like this man and the way he runs things. Richard in Wiggins says, that man scares me in a good way. Yeah, he's one of those guys. The commissioner is just personable. He seems like a great guy. He's got a great way of speaking and getting his message across, and you don't want to get him mad at you. That's the impression that you get, and that's what you want in that position. So it's fantastic. It really is. I really enjoy talking to him every time.